I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump went on one of those radical right media networks and went on a unhinged rant about evangelical leaders, complaining that they were being disloyal to him for not endorsing him at the moment. Let's play this clip of Donald Trump's unhinged rant attacking evangelical leaders. Play the clip.
You were the ultimate fighter, the ultimate counterpuncher for sure, and that makes me think of evangelicals, why they loved you twice in those elections. And when you announced your candidacy, at least as it stands now, some of these prominent evangelical leaders who backed you last time, they're not yet willing to commit, like Robert Jeffress is not, some others. It seems like many of them are waiting to see how the field takes shape before backing anyone. What is your message to them?
Well, I don't really care. Look, that's a sign of disloyalty. There's great disloyalty in the world of politics, and that's a sign of disloyalty because nobody, as you know, and you would know better than anybody because you do such a great job, nobody has ever done more for right to life than Donald Trump. I put 3 Supreme Court justices who all voted, and they got something that they've been fighting for 64 years or many, many years.
Right.
And nobody thought they could win it. You know, they won. Roe v. Wade, they won. They finally won. And, you know, I was a little disappointed because I thought they could have fought much harder during the election, during the 22 election, because, you know, they won and a lot of them didn't fight or weren't really around to fight. And it did energize the Democrats. But a lot of the people that wanted and fought for years to get it, they sort of, I don't know, they weren't there protesting and doing what they could have done. But with all of that being said, there's nobody that's done more for the movement than I have, and that includes the movement of evangelicals and Christians and the movement very much of Right to Life.
Yeah. You know, I have a number of observations from the clip that you just saw. The first observation is the way the question was asked, and the question was framed as, everybody knows that you're the ultimate fighter and the ultimate counterpuncher, which is why the evangelical community and evangelical leaders support you. So what do you make of the fact that you haven't been endorsed by them at this point? The very framing of that question is so completely odd to me. Why would being an ultimate fighter and ultimate counterpuncher be equated to evangelical support? I mean, that very framing is very bizarre. I mean, the question isn't what values do you espouse that are consistent with the teachings, which should be teachings of humanity and peace and community and helping your neighbor and turning the other cheek. And I can go on and on and on, but what values do you possess that would be consistent with the teachings, the positive teachings of certain religions, or in this case, the evangelical movement? But that's not what the question's even framed as. The question's framed as, you're a fighter and you're a counterpuncher, and so isn't this shocking to you? That's number one. Number two, the fact that Donald Trump talks as a mafia leader and says that they've been disloyal to him. And it always goes to show you that you can never make this bargain with the devil. I mean, in this case, when the evangelical community supports Donald Trump, ultimately somebody like Donald Trump is clearly using the community. And I suppose the community, it was all at the leadership level, is also using him. But I think what we need to focus on is ultimately helping people, our shared humanity, our shared sense of decency, and this idea of mafioso loyalty and how it's framed with evangelical leadership is very, very, very strange. But then I also reflected on a video that we made here at the MeidasTouch Network about 2 years ago when we first started. This was a video, actually, I think we released closer to the November 2020 election, and it's called Trump's Deadly Sins. And one of the things we wanted to highlight is that Trump actually espouses each and every one of the deadly sins, far from being someone who espouses the virtues that exist in religion. And look, I'm not here on this video to preach religion or to preach secularism or anything like that. I'm here to preach decency. I'm here to preach respecting of other individuals. I'm here to preach peace and love and positivity and trying to bring people together, not divide with hate, not lies, not all of the fascism spewed by Donald Trump and MAGA. And so you just kind of compare that to all this kind of performative manipulation of religious values by MAGA Republicans when in fact their conduct is very much contrary to it. And, look, here at the MeidasTouch Network, I just say this, we want to preach positivity, we want to preach compassion, and we want to preach humanity. And that's why, when you see people like Greg Abbott and DeSantis and, and Trump's and Fox, and when you see this conduct of like kidnapping and human trafficking asylum seekers and then dropping them off places in freezing weather without any direction or without any support, tricking and manipulating human beings, and then like fist bumping each other and then going on Fox and like laughing at the suffering of human beings. We have to call that out because there's no both sides going on there. It's dehumanizing and despicable conduct that is taking place, being perpetrated by MAGA Republicans. And you have to call it out. So you don't get to say, oh, evangelical this, or I'm religious this or that, and then at the same time, you support the human trafficking and suffering and torturing of fellow human beings. It's despicable, but we're going to keep calling it out here on the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Ben Meiselas. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. And in addition, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. You'll love the exclusive content on Patreon, but most importantly, it grows this independent network. And again, hit subscribe, please. It's free to subscribe and spread these videos. We appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.